Well, that's a nice view. The river is down below. There's a canyon here. You can see the rocks. And then above that, there's like some kind of meadow, open meadow. Mountains in the background with snow on the top. Very cool. I'm just up in the woods. I kind of followed looks like a horse trail or a game trail. I don't know what this is. I think I'm gonna need to get back on the normal trail. I wanted to go down, but I don't think I can get down there from here. Looks pretty steep. Yeah, I'm like halfway in between two trails here. Man, that is just beautiful though. Well, we'll see where we end up. I'm hoping we can get down. Maybe not. Well, maybe. I think that it's hard to tell where the trail is. I don't want to go too far off. But now I'm kind of committed to this one, aren't I? Those are taped with danger. So that must mean there's a drop off. I found somebody's campsite. fuck am I? Get the pine needles out of my hair. Oh, that's a cool tree. Interesting. Alright, we're gonna follow this guy. Is that Drummond Trail? Yeah, it is. Okay. So we're going this way. Alright, I know where we are. This is the main foot trail, finally. I'm just following that game trail, I guess, or I don't know, it might have been a horse trail, not an unofficial horse trail. I did see some hoof prints and what looked like horse poop. Oh. Alright, we gotta get around this ridge here. I gotta take a water break. Oh boy. Oh, there we go. So I wonder what that. So this here is the Whitehorse Creek, but I don't know what this tributary is that forks into it. Interesting. To look that up. I think you have to cross, in order to do that Drummond Trail, I think you have to cross Whitehorse Creek somewhere along here. But I wouldn't want to do that this time of year. It's way too fast, way too high. It'll sweep you away. I wonder what that's like being caught in a river, being washed down. Like, is it impossible to to stop yourself? Like, I imagine so. The rocks are pretty much all there is. Maybe you get lucky and there's a branch you can grab onto or something, but like the rocks, they're slippery when wet. Oh, that's cool. So that peak straight ahead, not the one to the far right, but straight ahead here with the little snow on it, I camped at the base of that. I'm heading back to the car. I was gonna I was a little ambitious with my plans, I think. Like, I wanted to summit or attempt to summit the mountain, and I was gonna go further into the park for another night. But I'm beat, honestly. I'm ready to have a hot shower and lay down. So I'm gonna need to do this more often. I'm gonna need next weekend. I'm gonna have to do 2 days, and then, well, it won't be next weekend. The weekend after. I'm busy next weekend, but next time I do this, which will be as soon as possible, I'm gonna do it for 2 days over a weekend. And then I'm hoping to do a 3-day trip. I'll take like a Friday or a Monday off and try a 3-day trip. And once I can do 3 days without too much, like, I'll probably maybe do a couple 3 days. It's hard to do 4 days without taking any time off work. I can do 2.5 by coming out on Friday, and then I get the evening to hike in a little bit, but it's hard to get time off work. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not that hard, but I don't I don't necessarily want to use up all my vacation days just for conditioning myself for the other vacation days I'm taking off. I gotta rest sometime. We're almost down to the river. We're getting close. I'm gonna point this down a bit more. Looks like we can go down right here. Man, that is some fast moving water. It's got to be going like 7 miles an hour at least. And for you metric heads, I don't know what that is. It's got to be what, like 10 kilometers. All right. Not bad, not bad at all. It was a bit cold last night too. It got down to, obviously, well, my weather forecast said 0, but I don't, like, it was freezing. Like, there was ice, frost forming on my tent. And then there was water frozen on the top because it rained a bit last night. So it was definitely freezing, and I was able to tolerate it. Like, it was not too cold, but it was cold. I felt colder than I thought I would. Also, I didn't have my fleece on. Like, there's other things I could have done to get even warmer than I was. I was just in my base layers, and in my sleeping bag on my sleeping pad. But, you know, I could have put on some more layers and then got back in my sleeping bag. One of the things that shocked me the most, though, was I went out to go to the bathroom just as the sun was going down. It was so there was like no sun shining, but it was like maybe, I don't know, 4 degrees or something like that, I imagine, and a bit windy. And so I went out to the bathroom, and like I was out there, it was fine, everything was good. And then I finished going to the bathroom, then all of a sudden I just felt it like cold. I felt how cold I was, or I realized how cold I was. And it's scary to me, like, how much it snuck up on me, because like I was not perceptive to it at all until it was to the point where I was completely shivering. It's a bit scary how that can creep up on you. So then, yeah, I got back in my tent. I was shivering, I was so cold. I got in my sleeping bag, and within about 5 minutes, like, the shivering stopped. I warmed up, and everything was good from there. And then one of the other things I got lucky with was it was not raining when I had to pack up camp. Ah, man, I imagine that's got to be miserable when you're trying to pack up your camp and it's raining. I would feel stressed out, and like the process of like keeping all your stuff dry, or as dry as possible, like I'd be freaking out about that. especially if I'm like doing another night, like if I'm like 2 days from the road kind of and you're kind of already signed up for an extra night. That's spooky. So I have to think of some ways to improve my processes, as well as possibly augment my gear a little bit. But I'm feeling good about how last night went. Like, it was, aside from like this morning, like I said, it could have been worse, but it was good because it was kind of bad. Like, it was snowing and raining when I set up. When I was cooking last night, when I was cooking dinner, it was raining. When I was eating dinner down by the river, I was eating my hot dinner in the cold rain. So it kind of didn't really warm me up that much. I probably would have been warmer just sleeping in my tent, or laying down in my sleeping bag in my tent. Man, but for my first night, like, this was my first night backpacking, where I wasn't car camping, essentially. It went pretty well, especially like that I was solo. I've got all new gear that I haven't really used before. You know, I practiced at home. Like, I practiced setting my tent up two times, not 3 times, 2 times. So I like knew how to do it. I knew the process of it, but like, even that, like, I had issues. I never actually pegged the tent at home. So then when I went to go put the pegs in, the stakes, I was confused. I'm like, oh no, now I've got to figure this out after a long day when you're exhausted. This is nice. There's some kind of meadow over there across the river. Keep calling it a river. It's a creek. Does it really make a difference? I don't know. I'm sure there's some hydrology or geology nerds out there that care, but to me, that's a river. That is not a creek. Well, I mean, it's technically a creek, but man, that is flowing like a river. There's no way I'm getting in that. That's so fast. Like, that is faster than running speed. Yikes. Up here we got big rocks. Well, it's a good hike out. Sorry. The old neck is itchy. It was a good hike out, but I almost wish I would stay another day, but at the same time, I think it's a good idea not to. Because, yeah, my leg is sore, and plus, you know, I'm done. I'm done for now. Fully realizing this was only one night, and also that it's not linear. Like, every night that you add on, it's not linear difficulty. It's not exponential difficulty either, but it's somewhere in between, where every subsequent night gets just a little bit harder. You're a little bit more worn down, you know, a little bit less energy. Especially if it's bad weather, like several days of rain, that's got to be tough. I hope that does not happen when I plan to go on the Donjack route. Well, this is nice. This is Whitehorse Wildland Provincial Park, and it's nice. It was not busy at all. It seems popular for the horse people. I never understand the horse people. Look at this big rock. That would suck if it rolled onto me. Yeah, the horse people, I never understood them. They're like a distant community for me. I've never interacted with them. I like horses. I think they're beautiful creatures. They seem smart, intelligent, and they look cool. You know, riding a horse would be fun. Jeez, those are some big rocks. I better get moving. I don't want to end up like under one of those. Yikes. All these rocks have tumbled down here. There's down in the ditch too, like, it's dangerous. Wrong place, wrong time. It's all over. Like, if that guy tumbles on you, you're done. Even if that does, or this. Yikes. Man, that is beautiful. So, hold on, coming up here, you might not be able to hear me talking. I don't know, the river's pretty loud. This rock, I'm going to try to show it to you. These rocks, look at their layers. Look at all the layers in them. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Maybe here you can. That is amazing. Wow. How did that happen? I guess and they're on an angle too. So I think what happened is, like, those were the layers of sediment that formed over every year. Maybe each line is 1 year, I don't know, or one section of years. And then the rock must have, like, tilted or something like that, because how else would it be on an angle like that? Gravity doesn't go diagonally. How would that happen? Anyways. Yeah, all of this, so it must have, like, fallen in under itself, like slid. I don't know. Wow, look at these little waterfalls here. That is cool. So I think if you fell in that, you would pretty much be done. Like, I don't know. I don't fuck with nature. Well, I guess I kind of do, but not to that degree. It's unfortunate, but people, like, they don't know, or like they're just oblivious to it. I like Siffler Falls, which is it's in the Job Klein public land use zone, I think, or the Kiska-Wilskin public land use zone.